Welcome everybody to the Physical Film Awards of 2025. So for the 8th nomination, we're going to be looking at Best Film. So this is regardless of format. This can be on Blu-ray, 4K, whatever, or label. So yeah, we've got a few different labels, but no repeats, which is one of the stipulations for these nominations. So the first, sorry, I just went up the stairs. The first nomination is going to be for What's Up Doc from the Warner Brothers Archive Collection. And not only is this a sensational film, easily one of the funniest films I've seen of this year, and in general, to be honest, it's one of the few comedies that I've given a 5 out of 5. But it is also indicative of the kind of thing that we're not going to get from Warner Brothers Archive Collection anymore, and that's due to the takeover from the likes of Netflix. So yeah, they might well release these kind of films on their streaming service, but I highly doubt we're going to get anything physical like this anymore from Warner Brothers Archive Collection or in general, which is a great shame because these kind of films need to be seen because they are great, but they also need to be preserved, and streaming services typically don't do that. And yeah, that's going to be a great shame when something like that is no longer available. So if you haven't seen it and you don't own it already, then do see it and do own it because yeah, you might want to get the opportunity in the future to actually buy such a thing like that. And considering the actually poor, variety on Netflix at the moment in terms of how the ages of films and such, most of their films are post 80s. And yeah, that is a great shame. It really is a dire, dire situation with Netflix with how little variety, how little older films are actually on there. And given the massive amount of films that Warner Brothers do own, I highly doubt they're going to flood their platform with the Warner Brothers Archive collection or any of their other notable releases because obviously Warner Brothers owns a great deal of properties. They own the Lethal Weapon series, for instance. And yeah, even though that first film did get a 4K release this year, I'm doubtful that now that we're going to get a 4K box set of the entire series. So yeah, that's going to be another shame. So yeah, I was really enjoying these Warner Brothers Archive Collection releases. I bought several of them this year. There's a few that have come out that you'd never likely see on any other like kind of streaming service or even physically. Like From Hell It Came, for instance. Yeah, it's a crap sci-fi B movie, but it's still enjoyable and it's still the kind of thing that you wouldn't see from anyone else. And yeah, and this is another great release from Warner Bros. Archive Collection. So yeah, highly recommend seeing that. Sorry, that's a little bit of a rant about the state of Warner Bros. At the moment, but it has kind of annoyed me that yeah, they're not staying independent and they're completely ruining their otherwise successful business kind of plan or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. But someone that is unlikely to ever go away is BFI, and especially when they're releasing great films like High and Low from Akira Kurosawa. Surprisingly, not seen this before this year, but yeah, well worth the wait or anything like that to finally get it on a Blu-ray format. And yeah, because I do believe this was on Amazon Prime at one point, and the quality was pretty shocking. So yeah, it's great to finally get it in a good transfer because it was newly restored and presented in high definition. And the film itself is great, superb cast, really engaging plot, and it uses its minimal settings quite well. And then from Eureka, we have Shogun's Samurai, part of their Masters of Cinema series, and yeah, another film from Eureka that is not going to be sold, which is like pretty much every film that they've released. The only ones that have sold are ones that have been upgraded on up to 4K from other labels. So yeah, that's only ever been the case, and that is the only label that has had that. Other labels, even like sort of Arrow Video and Indicator, have had films released from them that I have sold, but Eureka, yeah, they just put out consistently great films, and yeah, this is another one of those, and yeah, probably undoubtedly my favorite samurai film of the year so far that I have seen. And then a 4K release that I don't believe many people have talked about, and to be honest, I only talked about it in an update video, so I'm just as guilty as anyone else. And it's a James Stewart-led film, Harvey. So yeah, not only a really good 4K, but also an absolutely excellent film in its own right. And yeah, surprised this didn't get a more physical limited edition release. It's celebrating, I believe, its 75th anniversary. But yeah, just a standard 4K, but that is still good enough, especially when the film is that great and isn't widely available in other ways, you know, like on streaming services or anything like that. So, yeah, highly recommend it if you've not seen that. I can certainly see the modern version of doing that kind of film, where the titular Harvey would be a, you know, a CGI character or something, and be in the video, be in the film for all of it. Whereas, yeah, way that Harvey does it is perfect in terms of its execution, and that's why it's highly recommended. And last but certainly not least, we have from Radiance Films as part of the Hard Boiled box set, which is also up for a nomination in its own right. But within that one, we have Police Python 357, which, yeah, absolutely superb crime thriller. And yeah, has some really hard hitting action, especially towards the end. But it's also a really good character film, and yeah, engaging in terms of its plot. You got a really good cast with Yves Montand and Simone Signoretti, and yeah, it's also excellently directed, and yeah, my favourite out of the box set in general as well. So yeah, another one that I highly recommend from Radiance Films. Not sure if they're going to release these hard-boiled films in their own single disc standard editions or not. I imagine the box set still hasn't sold out. I haven't seen many people talk about the box set in general, but and that's a great shame because yeah, two of the films are absolutely sensational. The second film is pretty good, but the box set overall is a really good one in its own right. So yeah, they're the five films that are going to get nominated for best film. Now the next category is going to be best international film. So because there's inevitably going to be some crossover with this one, because you know Shogun Samurai is from Japan, so is High and Low, Police Python 357 is from France, and then you know Harvey and What's Up Doc are American, so they don't count as best international as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, as a result, we're going to choose different nominations for that category from those countries that have already had a film in the best film category. So, but there are multiples of films from France. There's two from France, one from Japan, one from Hong Kong, and one from Italy. So, yeah, a good variety there in general. But yeah, none of those are going to be the ones that have been nominated in this one. I just don't want to be too much in the way of crossover. There was a little bit with one of the previous categories, but there was only two in there. Whereas with this one, with Best International, you could easily put three of the five in there that were in the Best Film category. So it does seem a bit unfair to clog the Best International one up with multiples of films that have already been nominated, especially since those five in that Best International Film category are also pretty much equally as great as the ones that have been nominated in this category. So, yeah, on the whole, it's been a great year for films that I've not seen before, and yeah, international films have pretty much led that way, especially from the likes of France and Japan. So yeah, but nonetheless, if you have seen any of these five films, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them, and I'd also like to know what your best film of the year in terms of a physical film release has been. I haven't included films from 2025 themselves just because I don't feel like I can categorically come down to a proper conclusion on them, especially since a lot of those films from this year haven't actually had a physical film release. I've only bought one, in fact, from this year, and that is Fantastic Four: First Steps. But several other ones just haven't had a physical release, either because they're only on streaming, or the cinema release is still out there right now, or any of the other number of reasons. So, yeah, that's the main reason. I do prefer to concentrate on older films, though, anyway, when it comes to my collection. So, yeah, that's the main reason why you're not going to see much in the way of new films in these categories. Although you will see one in one nomination, which is the last one. So, yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.